I'm going to walk you through the HP Color LaserJet Enterprise Multifunction M776DN because buying a workgroup printer isn't just about ink toner numbers on a spec sheet. It's about how it fits into a daily office rhythm and whether the price tag actually translates into less hassle. If you're on the fence, wondering if a high-end color laser will really save you time or just add another box of paper to the supply closet, this review should give you a realistic picture. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. First off, let's talk about why the M776DN feels different from the typical office copier you see in a break room. HP designed this model for environments where you need color documents on a regular basis, marketing decks, client proposals, internal newsletters, but you also can't afford a printer that stalls mid-job. The minimal interruptions, maximum productivity promise is more than a tagline. It shows up in how the machine handles the print queue. When I set it up in a small graphic design studio, the printer accepted jobs from 3 workstations simultaneously without the usual printer busy messages that cripple smaller units. That matters because in a fast-paced setting, every minute a job sits in a spool is a minute a designer waits for feedback. The biggest draw for many buyers is the Duplex capability. A lot of enterprise printers will list automatic double-sided printing, but the real test is whether you can actually rely on it for large color runs. In a test of 500-page color brochure drafts, the M776DN consistently flipped the paper on the second pass without jams, and the output matched the front side perfectly, no misalignments or faint ghosting. For a team that prints marketing material in-house to avoid third-party turnaround times, that saves both paper and shipping costs. The real value comes from the reduced consumable expense and the environmental win of using half the paper you'd otherwise waste. Security is another claim HP leans on heavily. The world's most secure printing. In practice, that translates to built-in user authentication and encrypted data transfer. For a legal office handling sensitive client files, the ability to require a PIN at the printer before the page actually prints is a genuine safeguard. It's not just a gimmick. The feature is activated by default and integrates with common directory services, so IT doesn't need a separate appliance to enforce print control. That's a point where cheaper color laser models fall short, often leaving you to rely on network security alone. Now, let's get honest about the trade-offs. The first thing I noticed is the cartridge ecosystem. HP insists the M776DN will only work with original HP cartridges that carry proprietary chips. That means you're locked into a higher perpage cost compared to a generic laser that will run on third-party toners. If your volume is modest, say under 5,000 color pages a month, the extra expense may be justified by the color consistency and security. But for a department that prints thousands of color pages daily, the ongoing cost can eat into any savings you hope to gain from printing in-house. It's a classic case of you get what you pay for, and you need to be comfortable with the recurring spend. Another practical consideration is the footprint and power draw. The M776DN is a full-size, floor-standing unit. It occupies roughly the same space as a small filing cabinet, and the power consumption is noticeable, especially when the machine stays in standby mode for long periods. In a shared office where space is at a premium, you might need to dedicate a specific nook or even a small server room rack. That's not a deal breaker if you have the room, but it's a hidden cost you shouldn't overlook. When it comes to speed, the advertised 45 pages per minute in color feels realistic for short bursts, but the real-world throughput settles around 3,035 ppm once the printer's internal buffers fill up. For a team that prints long color runs, you'll notice a slight slowdown after the first few dozen sheets. The machine is busy processing the color separations and managing the duplex mechanism. It's not a catastrophic lag, but it's something to factor into workflow planning. If you need a printer that can churn out 100+ color pages per minute without a pause, you'd be better off looking at a production-grade model. So, who should actually buy this HP Color LaserJet Enterprise M776DN? First, medium-sized businesses, roughly 10 to 50 employees, that need reliable color output for client-facing documents, internal branding, and occasional marketing material. Companies with a modest but steady demand for color prints, such as consulting firms, law offices, or design studios, will appreciate the blend of security, duplex handling, and consistent color quality. IT departments that already trust HP's ecosystem and can manage the cartridge lock-in will find the total cost of ownership predictable, especially if they already have an HP-managed print service in place. On the other hand, you should skip this machine if you're a small startup that prints less than a few hundred color pages a month, or if you're a large print shop that needs high-volume, ultra-fast color production.